what I'm about to share with you, it is the recipe for heartbreak in relationships and dating, in situationships, in any type of love. Okay. And it's when you love them more than you love yourself, when you love him more than you love yourself, when you love her more than you love yourself. And even if you know better intellectually, emotionally in the body, you are still wired to make someone else, make this person that you have in mind when you are watching this video, your emotional center. And that is what is so painful, because this imbalance is what leads to self-abandonment and then self-betrayal. And that is what turns love into a huge struggle and heartbreak and just endless pain. And this is what happens when you internally start to assign more value to another person over yourself. Because in that process, you indirectly and unconsciously start to lower yourself, lower your own perception of your value, because in your mind, this person has such high value that next to them, you just feel inferior, inadequate, unworthy. Because when you don't love yourself, or more specifically, when you don't hold yourself in your own self-esteem and knowing of who you are, that is how you attach to people as a way to borrow their value. You unconsciously think that if I can just get them to like me, if I can just get them to choose me and be with me and stay with me, then I will finally be enough. And this is a twist. The value that you see, that should be a reflection, that should be a reflection of the value that you already see in yourself, the value that you have already internalized in yourself. And so when you go into the world knowing your value, you see the greatness in other people too. You see the value in other people too, but not from a place of lack, not from a place of idolization and pedestalization, because that's what ends up happening for a lot of people. And that's why it hurts so much. You start to see the value in them as a reflection of yourself, not a replacement, not a way to fill in what's missing. Because the moment that you place them above you, even just a little bit, you will lose equal footing and you are not connecting with them anymore. You are not loving them on equal grounding anymore. You are now reaching for them. You are now chasing them. You are now longing instead of being here, being centered, being grounded in knowing, I know what I am, I know who I am, and I know what I deserve. And I know that I do not have to struggle to get what I want. So what ends up happening is this reaching for other people becomes this pattern, right? You start to overextend yourself. You start to over-explain yourself. You start to over-invest in other people too quickly before you even sit down with yourself and ask yourself, is this person even right for me? It's when you start to read into their behavior too much and overanalyze things and wonder, what do they mean by this? And try to read between the lines and get all your energy, all your life energy, all your valuable life energy sucked out of you by over-investing in this person, because you are coming from this place of lack of love within. And what's dangerous about this is it can feel like love. It can feel like love when you didn't have healthy models of what love should look and feel like. You think that because you're deeply invested and because it hurts, because it feels a bit chaotic, you think that this is love, and because you care so much about them. But really, caring about someone, loving someone is not the same as self-sacrifice. It's not the same as negotiating your boundaries and your values just so you can feel accepted through someone else's actions towards you. And this is where a lot of people's emotional struggles come from when it comes to dating and love and relationships. They have essentially built love upon self-neglect, and that is just painful by design. You cannot escape that pain that comes with that. There is just no way. So I want us to go a little deeper for a second. I want you to think about the last time that you were in that dynamic where you made someone else the one, you made someone else the special, reserved person in your heart before they even showed up for you. You decided that this person is it, and you started to idolize and pedestalize them, perhaps, and you might have placed them in a sacred place in your heart before they even showed you and proved to you that they have earned that type of access to you. Why do you do this? Because you wanted them to be the mirror for you. You wanted them to show up and tell you, you are indeed this amazing person. You are indeed a valuable person that is worthy and deserving of love. You wanted their attention and their affection to finally reflect back to you what you haven't already believed about yourself, what you already aren't willing to believe about yourself. That you are worthy of love, that you are deserving of love, that your entire being is the essence of love, that you are this amazing, valuable person that isn't even a question whether you are worthy of love or not, because it's just your birthright. And that ultimately you matter and that you have a place in this world and that somebody cares about you, which of course we all crave as humans. But you make it much easier to have that experience with someone else when you already have that kind of relationship with yourself, because that's the standard, that's the foundation that you are building upon, not self-neglect, not self-abandonment. And that is the entire seduction of this imbalance that you are creating with this other person, because it gives you that temporary hope in exchange for long-term depletion of who you are authentically as a person and your true essence as a person. Your true essence as a person is pure love. That is what I choose to believe. Maybe you don't agree with me. But what better is it thinking that love is out there? That love is something that you have to chase. That love is something that you have to attain and get out there and to fight for and to prove through your struggles and hardships and self-sacrifice. If you believe those things, that is probably going to be the reality that you end up experiencing. Now, let me make one thing clear, and that is loving yourself does not make you a narcissist so long as you do not think of other people as beneath you. So long as you do not think of other people as like your minions and that you are superior to them. Because truthfully, I think all humans are valuable. We all have a uniqueness to us that cannot be replaced in anyone else. So loving yourself does not mean that you love other people less because you are so self-absorbed in yourself and you only love yourself. In fact, it's actually the opposite. When you do truly love yourself, you actually find that you have more love, more capacity to love other people too, from a place of completeness, from a place of wholeness, from a place of tapping into your true essence. Now, this also means that you don't love other people in ways that cost you yourself, because you cannot put someone on a pedestal and call it a connection and call it love, because that's not equal footing. That's you pedestalizing, that's you projecting a fantasy of their potential onto someone else. You're not coming from a place of true groundedness, and you are assigning your worth to someone else, to someone else's capacity and how they show up, and telling you this is what you are worth, when in fact that is your job, and that should always be your job to do, because that is the only free will, not the only, but that is the purpose of free will in this life, that you get to decide what your value, how you perceive your value, how you perceive yourself as a person, lovingly and compassionately, and treated with respect and honor, or as a person who, is a doormat and just kisses people's asses and is valued for doing that. Which identity are you going to choose for yourself? Because that is your free will. And also, you do not equate intensity in love to the depth of someone's love. Intensity does not always mean depth. There is a difference, right? You can be very intense with someone, and that can also be called love bombing. That doesn't mean that there truly is a connection there. And I don't want to give you guys a pessimistic worldview of dating, but there are people out there that only want something from you. And if you are connected to your self-worth, if you are grounded in your truth and always listening to yourself and your intuition, you can very clearly see who these people are that are trying to take advantage of you versus those that truly love you and want the best for you. So it means not confusing longing or any type of pedestalization with love. So the principle that I kind of want to introduce to you, and the approach that I want you to experiment with, is this: love people love them, cherish them, love whoever you are thinking of when you are watching this video. However, love yourself just a little bit more, just a little bit more. And this is not one or the other. You don't have to choose between loving yourself and loving others. You can do both in a way that honors you and actually feels good for you, and not like it's costing you something, and not like you're losing a part of yourself to love someone else, because that is very painful. So what this means is that you stay emotionally connected to your center, to yourself, and you prioritize honoring and respecting yourself and living life according to the way you want to live it, even when you are loving someone else and in a relationship. It means you don't let the presence of someone else replace the foundation of your self-worth and your sense of self. It means you don't collapse into someone else's emotional world because you think that being close to them is going to heal all your wounds within you. And I always hear people ask me, how do I do that? How do I do that? What does that look like? Give me the steps. I will give you some real life examples of what this might look like in action when you love them, but you love yourself just a little bit more. So for example, let's say you text them and then immediately you get caught up in overthinking. You get caught up in like spiraling, and you check your phone every 5 minutes, wondering why they haven't replied yet. Now, loving yourself just a little bit more means that you say to yourself, I'm going to put my phone down right now. I'm going to focus on me, because I recognize that this is draining too much of my valuable energy. Even though I love this person, I love me more because I value where I put my energy. And right now, this is not a productive choice in how I am allocating my valuable limited energy that I have so much of throughout the day. And so instead of giving your power away to their response time, you bring it back to yourself and what you choose to do throughout the day. Or let's say you catch yourself replaying certain conversations that you've had with them in the past, and you start to overanalyze the conversation, wonder, okay, did I say the right thing here? Reading between the lines, what do they mean by this? Yada, yada, yada. Loving yourself just a little bit more means that you interrupt that loop. You set a boundary in your mind, and you recognize that you tell yourself that I am not going to torture my mind and myself with the what ifs, with the analyzing, with the things that I cannot directly control, because that is honestly disrespectful to myself and disrespectful to the time that I have for myself. Or let's say you notice that you're the only one that's making conversation, you're the only one that's initiating plans and planning dates, and they're just kind of not really doing anything and just in the background, not really seeming like they care or prioritize you. Now, loving yourself just a little bit more means that you can pull your energy back and step back and say, and ask, am I getting the right energy back? If not, maybe it's time to pour my energy into something that's more mutual or towards myself, because you cannot really go wrong ever with pouring energy into yourself. That is what loving yourself just a little bit more would look like. I hope this kind of helps give you an idea of this in real time and like through tangible real life scenarios. I want you to really drill this next part in your head. If the love that you're in requires you to override your nervous system, to ignore your intuition, to lower your boundaries, and to negotiate your needs, that is not authentic, genuine love. That is self-abandonment that is disguised as loyalty. And I'm telling you this because I know a lot of us, including me also, we didn't grow up with the best models of what healthy love should look like. And so we grow up with all these ideas of what love should look like. We think that we need to earn love. We think that we need to sacrifice to have someone love us. We think that we need to prove that we are worthy. We think that it needs to be this huge struggle where we are fighting to secure someone else's love, and we can't just get it unconditionally just by being ourselves. And so that is what we are here to break, and what this whole channel is here for. And all this stems from this belief that believes that I am only worthy if I am proving it. And anything that you are trying to prove is something you don't already believe in yourself. So if you are trying to prove that you are worthy, clearly that means you don't believe you are worthy. If you were trying to prove that you are valuable and this amazing, valuable person, that tells me that you probably don't believe that you are this amazing, valuable person. In fact, probably the opposite, because that is why you are trying so hard to attain that approval, in someone else's behavior and capacity to be there for you. But let me tell you that real connection won't require that. It just does not require that chase and that hustle. The right people that are meant for you will not make you feel like you have to self-sacrifice and cost yourself just to be with them. And you don't need to keep betraying yourself just to feel temporarily safe in someone else's arms. So here's the invitation. I want you to start paying attention to who you place above you. And you can feel that you place them above you because you think about them more than you think about yourself and your own life. It's pretty obvious when you place someone above you. But ask yourself, why do I believe that they are more worthy of care and presence and devotion and attention than I am? What exactly do I see in them through my rose-colored lenses that I am refusing to see in myself? Because clearly I am so attracted to them because of these certain qualities, because I don't believe that I have these myself. So why not stop and pause and instead either see those qualities in yourself as well, or go out and cultivate them if those qualities are something that you really admire. Sit with that version of you that still equates love to effort, to struggle, to suffering and pain. And then remind yourself that you don't have to earn what you are already innately deserving of in this life. Okay? We don't think like, what did I deserve to be placed on this earth and to be given this blessing of life to experience, to be given this gift of life? Nothing. You don't deserve anything. It is just your inherent birthright to be able to experience it and to be able to receive love and to also give love to other people. You do not have to give all of yourself just to be loved. And you definitely do not have to stay in dynamics that deplete you, that drain you, that suck the valuable life energy out of you so much that you cannot even focus on the other areas of your life, like your work, your friendships, your hobbies and passions and your dreams. That you have to ultimately give all that up because you are stuck in survival when it comes to love. So you do not have to hold on to that just because you saw some potential. So love those who value you. Yes, you can love people. Of course you can love people, but learn to love yourself just a little bit more. Not as a wall, not as a defense mechanism, not as an avoidance strategy or, as a way of being petty and thinking that you are superior, but from a place of being able to say, I trust myself as the foundation and everyone else is the cute cherry on top that expands to my already complete and full sense of self and life. That shift, even if it's subtle, that is what changes the way you love people. That is the way you change how you attach to people, and also the standard of love you are willing to accept from other people as well. So let me know how you go. Let me know if you learned anything new, and I will catch you guys very soon in the next video. Bye.